Hello, my name is John Snyder. Today we're going to go through the soil field classification. This is test number 1. It's called the moisture test. The first step is we have some samples here. These are gravels. What we're going to do is determine whether it's dry, damp, moist, or wet. So the first step is dry soils. These are all dry. What you do is you take some in your hand and you feel it. You can do this. This is called ribboning it. Now, this here, did it leave any moisture on my hand? Nope. So it feels visibly dry. I feel no moisture, and it feels dry. So these soils are dry. Here's a gravel that doesn't have much fines to it. It looks dry. It didn't make any moisture on my hand. Here's got a lot of silt in it. Here the same thing. One thing is when they don't have any moisture, have no color. This one doesn't have any fines, but you can see this is visibly dry. So this is an example of dry soil.
Hello, my name is Jack Snyder, and today we're doing the moisture test. We're looking at the damp part of the soil. So one thing you want to indicate when you're looking at it is the color, that it still retains its color, but it's changed a little bit. And one thing that you can feel from it is that the soil is a little cold, which indicates that it's damp, but it's not visibly wet, so it wouldn't be classified as moist. And also one thing is that it's not sticky yet. As you can see with this one, it changed color a little bit, but it still retains it. It's just a little cold. This one, like the other one, it changed color, but it still retains the color. It's a little cold, but it's not like visibly moist.
He can just start to
wet.
feel the moisture.
Yeah.
And it just barely.
This one changes color. You can see that it has some water in it, but it's not significant enough to be classified as moist.
Let's see your finger hands again.
Damp.
And then your hands have color to them.
And they do feel a little colder. So during the moisture test, we're looking at the moist part. So whenever you feel it, you can now tell that there is a lot of water in it, and it does look a little different. Got some more color.
Let's
It
look
should
at this.
feel a little stickier.
So moisture is distinctly felt, but not wet, feels sticky.
So you can tell that it totally isn't drenched in like water, but there's a lot of moisture to it. This one you can clearly see that's all gray now because of the water, and it does feel sticky because it'll attach to my hand now.
And then you do see water on a little bit of water on your hand, right?
Mm-hmm. Same with this one. The color changed a lot to more of a brown color. It does stick. The sticky part can mostly be seen with this one because it sticks a lot to it.
And then it does make
it's
your
not
hand
totally wet.
does weten your head a little bit.
And if you do look at my hand, it does show little marks where the rocks are, which indicates there's a significant amount of water in there, but not enough to be wet.
Okay, now we're going to continue with wet. The wet part where the moisture can be seen oftentimes, and it will feel wet. So the first one I'm going to grab, you can see my hand is dry. I go ahead and feel in this like, oh, I can feel the moisture. It makes my hand almost entirely moist. I can see individual particles that it got moisture on it. So, and I say, is this dry? No. Is it damp? No, it doesn't feel slightly moisture. It's sticky. It could be moist, but I see water on my hand. So that was with a coarse sand or fine gravel. This is the same thing. So when your soil is wet, you will have to dry your hand. Also, use a towel or use your pants. So I'm feeling it again. Oh, I can see water on the gravel, and my hand is wet. I see noticeable water. So when you go to base stones, the ones we have in the middle, I don't see the particles anymore, and it almost looks like it's been mush. So there you can see, yeah, and my hand is all wet. This is distinctly wet. So same thing here. So another sample, my hand's dry. I go in here and like, oh, this is wet. This is definitely not dry, damp, or moist. I can see the moisture, I can feel it. This one I don't see it quite, but I can see it here. It's reflecting. So that covers the moisture. We want to be able to say it's dry, damp, moist, or wet. Thank you.